Hey everyone, in this video I'll be showing you how to easily win every time in Vampire Crawlers. The best part about this is it's consistent, doesn't require you to level up very high, and it works against the hardest content in the game like you see here, and we can do this without getting hit at all because we can ensure that we always have the card we need at the time that we need it. So we covered like the best builds, characters to play as, and general strategies just to get those wins. Now, at the start of the game, if you have Imelda here, she's going to be one of the better characters, but I'd honestly recommend going to the Wild Woods and grabbing Pugnala Provola because she has one of the easiest combos in the game, and what's great about this is she can draw one card whenever a yellow card is played, with many yellow cards being amazing, ensuring that you always have the cards you need in your hand, like the Clock Lancet, which can make an enemy skip their turn, which lets you cheese all the bosses in this game. I also like to pair her with Yada Cavallo here, getting one amount every time that you play a yellow card. He's not necessary. I also like Croce Frito here as well, giving you revival, so if you make a mistake, you're going to be able to get back up. And it's also nice because you can use these against the Red Reaper. Now, some other characters that are great, obviously Missing No, if you're able to beat the game, is great. Christine Devane is also another good option. Pasqualina is also good, increasing hand by 1 whenever you play a purple card, but I find the Pugnala, Yata, and Croce combination to be the most effective. Now, upgrades early on, you want to have greed and growth as high as possible. I've already beaten the game and gotten through all the content multiple times, but you do want to have a few points into your might as well, and I would always recommend having banish, skip, and reroll selections as well. So those would be the top 6 most important skills to level up first. Also, grabbing an additional crawler is good too. If you just have 2, you can go with Pugnala and Yata or Croce. Also, once you unlock the Fortune Teller, there is a very important one here with Chain Link. This makes it so our combos don't clear between turns, and with this we can basically infinitely combo and never lose it. Mana Siphon is nice too, which will increase your mana every 100 cards you play, but I found that Chain Link ends up being much better overall, as we don't really have issues getting mana. And for Blacksmith upgrades, we want to upgrade 8 the Sparrow as soon as possible. Obviously, some of the lower cost cards are nice to have too, but the tomes are going to be the most important because that's where we're getting a lot of our benefits. And we want to have Spellbinder with 2. Spellbinder is kind of an important card for us since we're going to be casting that often. And then all the rest of the yellow cards, I don't have them fully upgraded, but they are nice to put additional ones on, like the Attract Orb there. Clock Lancet as well is a big part of this build. And another one I'd recommend is the Friendship Amulet. This is actually really crazy. It's a yellow card that's a wild card, so we can save our combos, and if you can get 2 gems on that, it's nice too. Now, this works for all the content in the game, whether you're at the start of the game or if you're in the Berserk Wood where you get Pugnala at, this will work really easily. So starting off, if you cleared the level already and you have the relic, so now once we get into combat, what we want to do first here is we want to set up our cards if possible. Now, these have a nice 0 or 1 cost, so you can combo with these, but we always want to combo into Light Tome. So we're going to start with Cavallo there and then roll into the Light Tome, giving us 4 mana, so we can continue this, and then 8 the Sparrow, and we can go with our final gunshot here, which is usually enough to clear them out. If not, we can always just restart our combo, go into the yellow card there, and play Pugnala. So the next yellow card that we play, we're going to be getting more draws off it. So we'll all play 3 of our cards here, and since we keep our combos throughout the turns, we can then go with a 2 card here, which is going to be enough to finish off the rest of the enemies here. So this takes us to our first rolls, and honestly, this is where you want to use your banishes so we don't have as bad rolls moving forward. At this point, we don't need these red cards. If you reroll, you're likely going to get yellow cards. I'll just banish one of those, and this gives us our Attract Orb now. We need one of each of the yellow cards, so things like Spinach, Attract Orb, the Bracers increase your hand size. And another nice thing about the Hollow Hearts is if you want to scale your health up as high as possible, take one of these, but just focus on scaling up and getting combos to increase the overall health, because you can get like 100 plus from a single card. But in this instance, I think it's best for us to grab Attract Orb. We need another one that's going to give us more draw, and then we can continue to combo with that. Another thing, always look out for the little dots on your map. Anytime you find chicken, this can be really nice, and you can actually leave the chicken if you're at full health. I'd highly recommend doing that. I'm just going to clear this floor because I've been through here already. I want to show you guys what cards we're looking for early on. Now, we got Candle. This is the only yellow card I end up typically skipping because it's not going to be great against bosses. It does help out in some encounters, but you're not going to be able to scale this up as much as you'd want to. And actually, none of these cards end up going towards our build, so I'm going to go with a reroll here, and this was much better. Reverse combo is kind of funny because you can combo back down and then back up again. Don't love it. King Bible is the only like red card I would really recommend alongside the Garlic, because this has knockback, which will prevent you from taking damage. I think though right now we want either the Hollow Heart, in my opinion, Spellbinder is going to be one that we want to take, because we can make Spellbinder do damage later on. We're looking for 2 gems as we get later, the Coin Count or Decimate, which will take 1/10 of the enemy's health. You can use a yellow card and do more damage than any of your damage cards. It's pretty crazy. This was actually ideal because, as mentioned, we want to have Spinach. This little 10% damage is not crazy, but once we get comboing, that's going to turn to hundreds of damage. We got another Spellbinder here. I think that that's probably the best card to take. We don't mind having yellow cards because they let us with Pughnala draw more. So you can have an abundance of yellow cards and not have to worry too much about it. We also get from Yata increased projectiles, so you don't have to grab Duplicator. It's still really nice, but in this instance, we need more mana generation, so we're going to grab the Empty Tome so we can combo a bit better, and if you run out of cards, you always have that to get out. Now we're at a point where we're going to start looking a little bit deeper into these. We're approaching level 10, which we're going to get new cards available. You can grab the Duplicator because it will let you draw another card, and it's probably better than taking more Spellbinders, but we're going to go with that. Ideally, we want to get all of our characters up as high as possible. And I found a Treasure Goblin there, so another Light Tome that we're going to want to grab. If you take any of the crawlers that get benefits from taking purple cards, you'll be laughing. Now we got this here. If you didn't have many level 3 cards here or mana 3 cards, you could grab this. Clover is almost never worth taking. Luck sounds good in a lot of games, but here it just lets you get, instead of 3 choices like you see here, if you have a high luck, you can sometimes get 4. Don't get me wrong, that's great, but we don't need to play this with a 2-cost card. Tirajisu is even better because we can scale this up and get a multiple revives off a single card. Now I got a chest with gems. Early gems aren't going to be amazing. Luck and might aren't really that great. They don't scale very well. We're looking for mana, coin count, and the Decimate. Those are going to be our best ones. And there's a Clock Lancet gem as well. One nice thing is once we get -1s, we can start to go with negative combos. We don't have any -1 cards here. They can be nice because you can then grab Spellbinder, get mana back from casting it, and then we combo up higher and easier. You can even do a -2, but you start to dig yourself a hole by doing that, as we're typically trying to keep the number of mana cards in our deck roughly equal, and with a number of mana, any of the wild cards as well, so we can combo easier. Now here's a good example of our combo. We got a -1 card here, which lets us draw 2 because we got Pughnala there, which then lets us combo into another Spellbinder, which lets us draw 2 more, and then we start to get our 1s here. Now, I would recommend going with this to even draw even more or fire more projectiles if we need a damage boost. This will also let us draw more cards. We got to be mindful of our mana though, and this is where it gets interesting because wild cards let us get out of any bad positioning we may be in. I'm going to go with a 8th Sparrow. We don't have enough to do any further attacks. We can't do our level 3 card. So we can go with our Wild Wings here, which will reduce our mana cost of the next card, which then lets us go with a -1 Empty Tome, which will give 6 mana, -1, so 7 total mana. And then we can run out. We don't have a 0 cost card here, unfortunately, but I do have another wild card here, which does save us. We want to grab as many wild cards as possible because that lets you go and continue your streak. See, we got 16 mana here, or we could go with draw 9 cards. This is probably the better option right now because I need more in my hand, and that actually delivered because we were able to get some of our more powerful cards, and we have that modifier still going up. So we can go with our damage card now, and then this is great because we can continue to combo. Nothing here that I really need. Spinach would be okay, but we already got a damage scaler, and we're getting our damage scaled up pretty quickly, so we can re-roll this. Stone Mask, more coins, never a bad idea, especially if you get the coin count card. And destroy cards are primary targets because we can get these out of our deck easily. I have 6 mana. I'm going to grab the gunshot here to finish off the rest of the enemies. This will give us the overkill, which we want. Now, you can keep comboing if you want to, and these wild cards are so good for that. I'm going to leave these in our deck, and we can just focus on just using the rest of our damage cards here. But you can start to see how this is coming together. The best thing about this is it combos really easily because you're going to have a good amount of tomes here. You're going to have a good amount of yellow cards to keep drawing cards. And we don't really need to take many more attacks because we're going to be drawing these back into our hand pretty frequently. So you could take a couple red cards, but typically our damage is going to be covered from once we get some later gems like Decimate to deal crazy damage there. Now, if you're ever in a situation where you're not like having a great hand, it's nice to keep some of these wild cards here, especially with freeze, so the front row can't attack us now. That got us into a good position because then we can then play a Spellbinder, get us some mana back, and then start to combo again here, which got us out of that hole. So hold on to your mana card, or hold on to your wild cards. You never know when they're actually going to come out and save you. Now we're starting to get some of the higher cost cards like the Duplicator. You actually have to combine a Duplicator gem on a Duplicator to unlock this. I got a few questions regarding that. These don't really fit our build against splash damage, is not really that ideal. We are in a position where we could take another attack or Light Tome. Again, nice to combo and get extra mana here. Now we're at a 7 times multiplier and we got a wings card, so we can always just combo back down. And you can see here we're starting to get way more coins as well, which is fantastic. So we can start off with one of these, getting that cost down to 0, which is an easy combo into Cherry Bomb here, or we can take a light tome for 20 mana. And then that comboed in to give us 110% revival, which is a full revive. That's the amazing thing, is once you get comboing and holding on to some of those cards, you can do crazy damage. We got out of the hole, they didn't even get a turn, and we're already buffed up with 2 revives now. And I'm doing this, I didn't even realize, with the 100% damage modifier on. Completely forgot about that. Now this is actually really solid. We got another reduced mana cost card gem. These are great because you don't add another card to your deck, and with this we can even combo if we wanted to and take a -2. Now right now that's not ideal because we don't want to again dig ourselves a hole when we only have one -1 card, but once you have multiple -1s you can then start playing around that. I'm in a position where I think it's best, since we have multiple late tomes, to take another -1 card here, but make it so that we get even more mana. And if your card selections are not great, you can always skip just to get away from that. Or if there's a destroyed card, that's always priority. I got the purple chest here, which lets us take the wild buff, which lets us pick up cards and they'll contribute to the combo multipliers. This is nice, but again, those 2 that I mentioned at the start of the game are the best cards that we're looking for. Another bad hand, again, banishing is always something you can take. An empty tome is nice, but I'm starting to have a lot of low cost cards. Now, anytime you're going against a difficult boss, if you have any way to push back or freeze them, every time you play a card, they're going to get this scaling up. So it's ideal for us to be trying to play to disable them from doing that. So if you have any cards like the Bible or Garlic, those are great. And if you have the Clock Lancet, that's going to be your best option. Now this is nice. We finally got another 2-cost card with the Weighty Tome. This is great because we can, at this point we have multiple tomes. All you need to do is pick up like 3 to 4 on your run, depending on the size of your deck, and you'll be fine. Anytime you can find a gem, those are nice too, especially if you have more slots for them. But right now I'm going to take the extra tome. And this is perfect. We actually got some of the best cards here. So Decimate, as mentioned, does 10% of the enemy's health as damage. Why this is so good is the hardest boss in the game is going to take your level and times their health by 655,000. So this is good because their health is going to be scaled up so high. If you don't have high damage output, you can just keep doing this over and over again. And the best part is you can put these on your yellow cards. I also want to acknowledge wild cards are insane because these let you combo as well, but Decimate is going to be our best choice here, and I would actually recommend putting on the card that you're playing the most. You can put on a yellow card, just be mindful that if you freeze a target, they're not going to get hit by that, but this is just nice to throw on any of these cards here. And if you're able to duplicate it, go for that card. Now, I haven't grabbed a Bracer card yet, but this is another one that we want to throw into the mix because this will increase our total hand size, which helps a lot. And it's all coming together here. This is the card we're looking for. Clock Lancet will apply 1 freeze. This can also scale up to apply multiple freeze. But why this is so good is that, again, those eyes that the bosses are going to have, once it gets to the 5th one or the final one in the eye, you can freeze them and you don't take their special attack. So always prioritize taking at least 1 to 2 of these. I'd recommend having 2, and 2 with a gem is even better because this will actually increase the damage that they deal. I'm actually at a point now where I can just play all, but anytime you want to end your turn, you can always just go with a Clock Lancet, freeze that front row, end your turn, keep your streak. Now it's all coming together. Once you hit level 20, that's when you get access to some of the best cards in the game. Friendship Amulet, as you saw from the start of this video, with 1 gem slot's amazing, but 2, this is one of the best cards in the game because this increases your combo. It's a wild card, so you can play it at any time, and with a Decimate gem, it becomes your best damage dealer as well. If you can duplicate one with Decimate, you got your run completed. It is just so good because at any point, you can just increase your combo and keep rolling. Now, these gems aren't amazing. Anytime you find a chest that has a gem, it's sometimes best to re-roll it and hope for something a little bit better. We're not getting really great cards here, unfortunately. I'm going to re-roll it one more time. That was not enough. So yeah, sometimes you don't get a higher tier chest with the better rolls. So with this, Might is probably just the best choice here. And I'll throw it on one of the guns here that has multiple slots. And here we have a tough choice because, as mentioned, Clock Lancet is amazing to have 2 of. Friendship Amulet is also great to have. At this point, I do think it's probably best for us to have a bit more of the get out of jail free card with this here, but don't be afraid to take another Clock Lancet. I'm gonna grab this here and hopefully we can get a gem of it. And usually when you clear a floor, that's when you're gonna get your best cards. We got another Decimate here, which is amazing because that means we can just buff up one of our other cards here, but I would like to actually put that on a Friendship Amulet, so if you can get a copy card, we're gonna copy that one because getting your combo up while still dealing 10% of the enemy's health is crazy. We're in a situation here where we don't have anything good, so again, we have multiple skips, we want to use them, but you can always just banish a card if you don't like having a certain one. We got ourselves our next Clock Lancet, which is great. Bracers is alright. We already have enough yellow cards here. We don't really need to grab another, but if you don't have any skips left, don't be afraid to grab one of those. And we just got ourselves another Clock Lancet. So again, having 2 of these is ideal. If you can get a gem, that's really nice to have as well, but it's your get out of jail free card because you can then start with your Friendship Amulet and go into Clock Lancet, freeze everyone, keep your combo into the next turn. Now, Wings is another card that's really nice. It's kind of like a mana card. It's a wild card, reduces the cost, and this is great because when anything reduces the cost, it'll combo really easily, because if you have 2/1 combos, you use this, you're then going to have a 0 and a 1. And we got lucky here with a chest giving us a freeze card. This is really nice because you can then put this also on one of your other spellbinder type cards. Like this -1, not bad, because we can always just freeze them and get another mana point. We're in a pretty good combo way here. Now, we always want to have one card with the gem 4 o'clock Lancet available at any time, just so that you can freeze them there. He's already frozen, that's fine. And then we can just use a buff here because he's not going to be able to attack since he's frozen. And we got the kill on our next attack. Another Wings card. Any wild card is typically not bad to take because they're just going to basically end up helping you out. The yellow ones, like the Friendship Amulet, end up being the absolute best because you draw cards with them. But hey, it's nice to also get Wings. And here it all comes together. So another Decimate card, but I didn't go for coins because I was just being... Once you beat the game, you can get the ultra overkill on everyone, and that just lets you scale your coins up insane amounts. You can get millions of coins per run. That point makes the coin count way better because this will deal with damage based on how many coins you have, which we don't have a crazy amount. So I'd be better off taking Decimate, but if you're farming for coins and you have a ton of them, coin count ends up being the better option here. But it's nice to have multiple Decimates, especially on some of the cards here that are a little bit easier for us to cast, like a Light Tome with a -1 mana cost, so that we get mana and deal 10% of the enemy's health. So then to put this all together, what we're trying to do is watch the enemy's overall health. We do have revives to help out with this. This is the hardest boss in the game, so with that, this strategy works really well. We were able to freeze him here. Don't be afraid. If you're trying to freeze, combo it a little early if you need to, and just let the freeze sit there, because you can just let them stay frozen and use a buff card. Most of these yellow cards, unless they have Decimate on it, aren't going to end up hurting the boss, so you can kind of plan around this strategy. And with this, you're able to, you could just press play all and have this automatically play, but as long as you're comboing with those wild cards, you're going to scale your mana generation up into insane amounts, your damage gets scaled up, and you have those Decimate cards. If you're lucky, you can get a Decimate with the coin count. As you saw there, I had a pistol, and if you can duplicate a card like that, it's GG's. But honestly, this actually plays for itself at a certain point. Again, you can press play all once you get to a certain section, because your cards are just going to continually keep comboing. It doesn't play smartly when you press play all, but it doesn't even matter when we have a deck this good that's really easy to set up. It doesn't really require anything insane here, and you can see with this, we're just spamming our attacks until we end up getting to a situation where we need to block an attack using the freeze there. And yeah, just continually keep comboing. You have wild cards endlessly, so you can get insane amounts of overall damage increases and everything in between. So with all of this, you'll be able to take down the hardest content in the Vampire Crawlers game. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Hit the subscribe button if this video is useful, and we'll catch y'all in the next video.